Hi, today we're going to explore the answer to the question, what three mindsets are crucial for teacher leadership? While that question implies teacher leadership specifically, the answer really encompasses leadership in general. So let's dive in to the answer to that question. First part of this video, we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about leadership in general. Second part of this, we're going to look at growth mindset and its implications on leadership. Third part of this, we're going to talk about something that's called or noted as stress is enhancing mindset, and how stress enhancing mindset applies to leadership, not only in education, but in general. And of course, I want to talk about love as a leadership mindset. What does love mean in terms of a mindset, and how does that apply to leadership? Lastly, we're going to look at a real life example of somebody who exhibited these mindsets in education, and you can see, we'll be able to see how it applies outside of education as well. So let's talk about leadership, right? What is it exactly? Well, some people have said that, I think it was Dwight Eisenhower, who basically said that leadership is the ability to get somebody to do what you need to have done and want to do it. You also get a lot of people who talk about this notion of leading from behind, right? Knowing when to follow, knowing when to let other people take the lead, helping to build other people up and let them realize that they have this sort of level of independence and roles, and their responsibilities are as part of a team, kind of an elite level part of a team. So it's this idea that you're really bringing other people along, you're getting them to do the things that need to be done, wanting to do it. All these aspects are what leaders do well. It's not putting themselves out there first and foremost. And when they are recognized for their leadership, they're the first ones to credit the team and credit the people underneath them and below them. That's what real leadership is kind of all about. So this idea of a growth mindset plays right into this, because it's this idea that you are going to persist. There's no such thing as failures or setbacks, right? You're constantly learning and trying to think outside the box. It's all those kind of dynamics that we were just talking about that truly great leaders have. If you think about leadership in education, right, and you're trying to get young people to maybe take on a new concept and they're struggling a little bit, and you've got to build them up and keep trying to find new ways to reach them. How can I get through to this person? How can I get through? So really great teachers are leaders in that they're leading these students to new levels of learning and new levels of self-confidence. It applies outside of teaching, but I think you can really get that picture, and you may have even had that experience of having that teacher who did that for you. This next mindset that is really crucial is this idea that stress is enhancing. So it's this idea that stress is a good thing. It makes us better people. It pushes us to outside of our comfort zone to new levels of learning. Teachers have to do this all the time, because you cannot grow without being pushed outside your comfort zone, right? So learning, by almost definition, requires you to experience stress. So teachers have to really incorporate this idea that stress is good. It's going to enhance you and improve you and make you better. They got to incorporate that into their entire teaching style and techniques and all those things. And again, if you think outside of the education setting, you can also see how that applies to other people. It's this idea that when you experience these setbacks or the stress, the emotional stress, reframing that. That's a good thing. This is how we're going to get better, and how we're going to grow as an organization, as a group, as a team, as an individual. So stress enhancing mindset is really vital part of leadership. Lastly, it's this notion of love as a leader, or loving mindset in leadership. So in this idea, there are some characteristics that are crucial for love, right? So love is kind, is patient, is hopeful, is perseverant, is trusted and trustworthy, is protective, it doesn't envy, doesn't get easily angered. All these are characteristics of people who have a loving mindset. So if you think of working for somebody like that, that's like, yeah, I want to work for somebody like that. You wouldn't want to work for or under somebody who's the opposite of those things. Unkind, impatient, easily angered, dishonoring of you, not trustworthy. Those aren't people you want to work for or under. They aren't the ones that are going to motivate you to do, right? So this idea of loving mindset in leadership is crucial. Great leaders have it. And I think instinctively we know it and we understand it, right? So those three mindsets are, again, not just crucial for people in education, but outside of education as well. Lastly, let's take a look at a real-life example of somebody who exhibited this in education. Many of you probably know the story of Helen Keller and her teacher. So Helen Keller got scarlet fever when she was a young girl. I don't know, like early elementary school age. So she had some basic, language development and those things already. She loses her eyesight, her hearing, and then because of those, her ability to speak. So obviously, Helen's like frustration. It's really difficult for her. A lot of negative emotions there. And Annie Sullivan was hired to try to teach her how to learn to be able to navigate this world without those senses. In a movie about her life, there's this powerful image really exhibits this idea of these three mindsets in education. And she is, Annie Sullivan is trying so hard to get this breakthrough for Helen Keller, who's frustrated, she's easily angered, she's experiencing all these negative emotions because she's intelligent, but she can't communicate. She can't find the ways to kind of connect. And the scene has Annie Sullivan at a water pump, pumping water in her hand, and then doing sign language in Helen Keller's palm of her hand, water. Pumping the water, doing the sign language. And the light bulb goes off in Helen Keller. And she shows that she understands, and it's a major breakthrough. And from that point on, that relationship between Annie Sullivan and Helen Keller improves, and the education goes on. And Helen Keller went on to be a world famous leader and advocate for people with disabilities. She became one of the most famous individuals of her era and her time. And Annie Sullivan is really responsible for a lot of that because of the mindset that she exhibited as a teacher, leader. I invite you to subscribe to this channel, check out our other videos. You might want to specifically check out the video, How Do Students with a Growth Mindset See Their Mistakes?